What's up, you guys? Gourmet J here, and I am with my good friend Kater, and we are here to have a healthy discussion of the current patch 1.8.3 and the changes that have come along the way. So, as you know, in 1.8.3, a nerf to Striker came with the nerf to the stacks, nerf to changes to the EMP, and a nerf to the healing. The Showstopper aim assist was definitely changed, as well as the glitch that came along with it. Also, there was one more thing, Cat, wasn't there? What else was changed in this update?
Striker? That's not.
There's something else. I know it was just mostly those two, but there's something else. But those are the box. Hello, the box. Jeez, wow, one of the biggest changes.
Completely forgot.
Hello. So, and then the nerf to the box. So we're here to have a healthy conversation. We're not here to bash the devs. We're not here to say you guys don't know what you're doing, like everybody else is doing that, and it's just obviously it's not getting us anywhere. So we're here to be positive and try to go about this the right way. So starting off, I will say that 1.8.3 is actually unbalanced, and the reason I say that is with the changes to the gear sets and the changes to the box that actually nerfs other sets. And you know, the main point of Striker being nerfed was to bring about diversity, but I honestly, in my experience, I'm not seeing much diversity. Obviously, you know, we're seeing, and I should say this, my idea of diversity is everybody running different things, and you know, running different combinations of builds, such as gold builds or hybrid builds or ninja bike builds. But mostly with what I've seen, we're seeing Pred and Nomad and D3 and Banshee. So with the nerf to the box, Pred definitely took a step up. It was a indirect buff to Pred. The reason that is because, well, we can't keep the box on the ground for a long time, because now people are instantly going to shoot the box. Whereas before, if we threw the box on the ground, it was an instant cleanse, and we got some health with that. I myself, I don't have an issue with the box being nerfed. The issue is it's harder to fight against Pred marks. Instead of just, you know, complaining about Pred and saying, oh, it needs to be nerfed, it's just messing up build diversity, I think an easy counter to that is allowing our self heals to actually cleanse that, like it did in 1.3. So if you popped a booster shot, you know, a booster shot or a defib or an overdose, and this is key, your own self heal, your own first aid heal, not a teammate's. So if you have a healer on your team, you know, and everybody's shooting heals on the ground, nobody will ever be on bleed, which will make the set automatically useless. But having your own heal to cleanse that will actually bring skill haste back into the game, where hybrids and ninja bikes will actually get some fair play. And it's not a nerf to Pred's mark. It's just, you know, Pred will still have its damage, but you have to play smarter, where it's another counter, and it will be easier, and it'll actually bring about easier to fight against, and it will bring about more diversity. That's number one. As far as the shield,
Well, basically, some strikers out of the picture. People can't keep their stacks up anymore with it, and defense is kind of coming out a little bit more frequently, since the shields can't be shredded by Striker anymore. So there's only really a couple true counters for it. Either sticky bombing the shield or just EMPing them and going at someone from the side.
so my whole thing with the Striker nerf, you know, a lot of people might think that I'm, you know, just automatically upset about it. It's a little upsetting, but the thing is, I have other builds to use, and you know, being in a group and playing with our team, you know, we've had success, you know, even in this patch, still going manhunt. And obviously it's a challenge, especially with as much Pred and, you know, other obstacles to go against. But, you know, you don't need Striker to do well. But I will say this about Striker. The nerf was needed, but it was definitely overkill. The changes with the EMP was definitely needed. Pausing the stacks was just, it didn't really do anything. and the health regeneration definitely needed to be toned down. In my opinion, I would actually tone down the healing a little bit more, especially since with 9K, those stacks are you can definitely get some good healing with 9K stacks. But the problem is you can't really get those stacks unless you're on PC. Um, just watching other YouTubers, other streams, the PC gamers are having more success, obviously, because their aim is definitely better than console. But it feels as if console is definitely getting the short end of the stick as far as striker. So, in my opinion, I definitely feel that the double stacks should definitely come back. You should allow 6P striker to double stack, so let it be 2-on-1 again instead of how it is right now, 1-on-1, but lessen or decrease the self regeneration to actually make the build viable. Because on console, it is, from somebody who used striker faithfully, it is incredibly, just ridiculously hard to use. And it's not even about a skill gap thing. It's honestly just, it's too situational. It's a build that's just way too situational, where if it just doesn't feel that it doesn't feel usable. So in my opinion, I definitely believe that the double stacks should come back. As far as Banshee and Nomad, I feel that Banshee needs a rework. If this is how I see it, somebody should not be rewarded for dying too much. If you get beat by somebody who is just plain out better than you, didn't use any cheese, didn't do anything, didn't gank you at the checkpoint, but it's just flat out beat you in a gunfight because they're just better at the game, why should the guy who lost be rewarded? I don't understand that. I honestly don't know of any other game that does that besides Black Ops 1, when you had second chance and you could fall and you had that immunity, you could kill somebody with a pistol. No, that was stupid. It was broken. That's why it's not in Call of Duty anymore. I honestly believe that Banshee should change as far as that. I think one of the main reasons people wanted that with Banshee, why it was changed for that, or the reason why it was changed, was because people were getting ganked at the checkpoint. So I believe that it should apply for that, being ganked at a checkpoint. So if somebody is being ganked at a checkpoint and they have 4-piece or 6-piece, 5-piece or 6-piece Banshee on, you should get that proc, or you should get that buff, but only if any rogue period is like a certain distance away from the checkpoint, like say 30 to 50 meters away from the checkpoint. So if somebody's near the checkpoint, you automatically get that buff. So outside of that space, and in that space, it actually gives you a chance to get out of the checkpoint, hit a right, hit a left, get away from those rogues. It gives you a chance to, if you don't want to fight them, it gives you a chance to get away from those rogues. But if they still want to gank you, I think that the 20% should actually be buffed to either 30 or 40%. That way, you actually have a fighting chance to wipe out that squad that's ganking you, and that's that. You still have the buff for 10 minutes if any rogue is within a certain distance of the checkpoint. I think that's fair, instead of having these 8K, 9K Banshees who were just being beat by some solo manhunt was just clearly better than them, and all of a sudden they come with this insane damage and they just wipe the person. I honestly don't think that's exactly fair. As far as Nomad, I think Nomad is the only set that I feel needs a nerf, in my opinion. I feel that the percentage, the 50% chance of you getting another Nomad should be lowered to probably like 30%, because fighting against multiple solo Nomads who are working together but aren't on the same team is just ridiculous. Fighting 4 can turn into 16 just very quickly, and that is just ultimately that's broken. But those are my opinions as far as 1.8.3. Kat, do you have anything else that you want to touch on? Anything that you feel needs attention, or what your opinions are of 1.8.3?
I'd say be careful giving Banshee an extra like 10 to 20% damage. Because with a 10k glass cannon and a tactician pulse with a tac link, you're able to hit 96k with the house on someone's head.
Mm-hmm.
So any buff to that damage, why would anyone want to do over 100k damage with a house and banshee rogue? I mean, sure, I understand a lot of people would like to do that because, well, it's kind of what Fred already does, but I just don't think it's very productive.
I can see where you're coming from with that, but the point of why I say that is for those who are being ganked at the checkpoint, because obviously it's still an issue, and it's only a certain distance, so it's only what 30 meters, 30 to 40 meters away, you know, within that checkpoint. So if the rogues are out of that distance,
the checkpoint and the safe room.
That's tricky.
'Cause, I mean, people can get stuck at a safe room. If you spawn in the middle of 5 and 6,
yeah,
you can't get away from those two safe rooms unless you change lobbies, join on a friend,
That's
or
true.
you allow
That's
yourself
true.
to be killed in a certain position.
That's definitely true. That's definitely true. So, I mean, obviously, it would have to apply to safe rooms as well, because you can still get camped at a safe room.
Now,
So,
with that, you'd have to be careful, because if you look at the map, look how close together a lot of the checkpoints and safe rooms are, and what spaces would actually not be affected by that damage.
well, see, that's where the devs would have to come in and figure out exactly what distance is, you know, applicable or should be applicable. But that's just my opinion. You know, it's not something that definitely needs to be done. It's just something to eliminate the issue of having these people come out with all this extra damage and just killing somebody who's just, you know, simply better than them. I don't agree.
Now that I agree with you on, you shouldn't be rewarded for dying like that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be rewarded for dying. Simple. I just don't understand that.
What about kind of like a penalty system?
What do you mean
Like
by
if
that?
someone has Banshee on, and they come out the checkpoint or whatever, you just killed them, so they have the proc or whatever. What if instead of that, it's whoever kills someone who has like 4-piece Banshee on, they gain the buff? Like you could get a buff from killing a Banshee possibly?
You can get a buff for killing a Banshee.
Like,
So,
okay, so if a rogue kills you, you gain that Banshee proc.
mhm.
But what about if it was vice versa? You had your proc, you went out there, and you still lost to the rogue.
Mhm.
Shouldn't that rogue gain some sort of buff for being able to kill you with that on, or
I don't think it should be a
maybe
damage
more
buff.
damage resistance?
Yeah, either. That's real. That's very tricky. That's very tricky because if the person is automatically better than you and they still kill you with that buff, and then you get resistance, then that Banshee that keeps dying is just it's going to be almost impossible to kill them. So I think it's more of like a consumable thing. Like if they die, they should automatically leave you just ammo and like 2 med kits or something like that. I think that's what it should be. But as far as like resilience, man, if you keep killing that rogue, like they're never, or that Banshee, like they'll never be able to beat you. So it's like an ongoing cycle. It's a good idea.
I don't know, there's got to be some bonus for a rogue.
Yeah, but I feel like there should be, if there's going to be a bonus for you dying too much, there should be a bonus for the rogue. That's how I see it.
Exactly.
If they keep beating you. Well, it's pretty productive. But as far as, you know, my opinions on 1.8.3, like I said, I feel it's pretty unbalanced right now, especially fighting in certain sets. Obviously, many people have complained about Pred simply because of how hard it is to fight with the box. So, like I said, just to recap, I feel that First Aid Self-Heal should work to cleanse the bleed.
Well, there's another thing they could do with Fred. Just remove the bleed ticks from critting. So if it was just nothing but white numbers, that'd be more manageable, like 40s, 60s, maybe 80s, maybe even still 100, like non-crit.
I've never seen
It's more manageable than being ticked. Oh, I've seen it. I've seen
just
it, dude.
a flat 100 with
A flat
with
100
non-crit?
non-crit. Uh-huh.
The most I've seen is like 50. Wow.
The dude had a fucking sniper and an urban MDR.
Well, there you go. That's why.
Yeah. But if they
Yeah.
just remove that from it, it'd be a little bit more manageable. Because, I mean, we take 50 and 60k damage all the time. 80 is reasonable, 100 is where it starts to get iffy.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's people out here critting us for like 200 to 400k bleeds and more than that. Like, I've seen a million crit on a player, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Definite changes. I think that's just a start. Instead of just nerfing the set, building counters will be more productive and it'll be easier for the devs, especially since they'd have to pull resources from Division 2. And that's what we don't want. We don't want them to pull resources from a game that's supposed to be better than the Division 1. We want, minimal changes to make the Division 1 better. Simple as that. Making it
What
more
about,
enjoyable.
like, EMPing a pred if that kept them from putting you on bleed? Like, that'd be fair, right? Because you can EMP a striker and keep them from getting stacks.
That's true. That is an alternative. I feel that could work out as well. Yeah, I mean
Like, it
that
just
that works as
pauses
well.
your bleed count on someone.
Yeah, so you can't even if you hit 10 shots while you're disrupted, you can't put someone on bleed. Huh. Interesting. And I mean,
Well,
obviously we've had the
I
discussion.
wouldn't say specifically that. I'd say you would get paused at whatever bullet you were at on someone. That'd be like saying you could get up to 100 stacks of striker, but still not be able to use them till after the EMP effect is over.
Well, see, Striker was nerfed with that. Their Striker, their
Exactly.
stacks go down over time, and if they shoot, their stacks will go down as well. So it's only fair for a pred, if they keep shooting, no matter how many times you shoot them, you can't put them on bleed while you're EMP'd. I think that's pretty fair.
True, but you shouldn't be able to get up to 9 or 10 bullets on someone, like on your little counter for your gun, for pred or whatever, while you're EMP'd, because that still benefits you.
Yeah,
It just
so
means
that's,
the moment you're off EMP, that person's dead.
well, yeah. So that means it would be paused. It would have to be paused because, well, I mean, unless it's reworked, but I feel like that's too much. You have to work the system so that the system doesn't get confused and think, oh, this many shots were
True.
landed. Yeah, so it would probably be better for those shots to be paused. That would probably be smarter. I think that's fair. I think that's definitely fair.
It'd make it
Okay.
more manageable.
Yeah, and I think it's this whole thing is mostly about balance. It's not about making one set better than the other or just trying to dominate with one set. It's really about balance so that everybody can use whatever build they please. Now, I will say this. As far as Striker, this is the last time I'm gonna bring it up because I don't want people to think I'm just obsessed with it. The nerf was obviously to bring about a skill gap. I saw a tweet about that, but the problem is not everybody can. A lot of people can't get those stacks, and it's very, very situational. So I would say as far as the skill gap, no, if we're gonna talk about skill gaps, then we need to talk about the skill gap as far as many other sets. So if we're gonna talk about a skill gap with Striker, then we need to talk about a skill gap with pred. If we're gonna talk about a skill gap with pred, then we need to talk about Nomad. You shouldn't be able to get multiple lives when you're face tanking somebody. You shouldn't be able to just put 10 shots on somebody. You shouldn't be able to get 100 stacks with insane health regeneration. If we're gonna talk about a skill gap, then we need to either buff all of the sets or take all the classifieds away. If we're really gonna talk about a skill gap, and let it be like 1.7 again, where everybody has their own unique build, and you got to work with that build. And if your build is working for you and you're a better player, then you're gonna do well with it. That's actually skill gap right there. 1.7 was a skill gap. So we're in 1.8 and we can't go backwards. So if we're really gonna talk about a skill gap, then we need to revisit things. So that's my point about that. But as far as everything else, I feel that we touched on mostly everything. I'm pretty sure there were a couple things that we left out, but if so, if there's some other things that you guys feel that we need to touch on, definitely let us know, and we'll continue these conversations, because the point of this is to bring awareness and to find fixes and to make have more enjoyable gameplay for everybody. So, Kat, I appreciate your opinions. I appreciate your conversation. I appreciate you coming through and helping me out with this video. Much love to you
No
as
problem.
always. Much love to all you guys that were checking out the video. I will catch you guys later. Peace out. Just you
chill,
too.
random? Fuck.
Much love, y'all. Much love. Much love. Much love. Just letting you know.
No, this is random shit with the Cassidy.
Ooh, he strays. He definitely strays.
Oh shit, you're right.
Alright, let me kill that dude. Fuck, man.
No.
He has a shotgun and Where you can't get.
Really?
Can you not get the, I'm out of here. Can you not get the buff for the kill stuff or no? Yo, that kid just got him a focus. Wait, watch out.
Where you at, kid? I heard you below me.
Fucking way, bro.
What the fuck, dude? Oh, the fire turret is fucking me up. That's what it is. Wasting too many medis, my boy. Where'd that Pred go? Oh, he's up here.
Not a good servant.
Self-reserve. I mean, not self-reserved, predatory with this. Then again, you have your sidearm, so I should be finishing with that.
Damn, what happened, bro? I'm still waiting out here. What? Oh, that's amazing.
Yo, that fire turret hurts, dude. Oh my god. Move away from me. I'm out. Oh, you're okay. Well, this was an easy manhunt.
You gotta get like put your body right inside of them. That's
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? You gotta, you gotta get right in.
Oh, come on, dude. Your aim. I'm about to die now.
Oh man, I'll pass.
Fuck.
Hey, boy.
Ah.